Texas are a pop rock band from Glasgow, Scotland. They were founded by Johnny McElhone in 1986 and feature Sharleen Spiteri on lead vocals. Texas made their performing debut in March 1988 at the University of Dundee. They took their name from the 1984 Wim Wenders movie Paris, Texas. The band released their debut album Southside in 1989, along with the debut single I Don't Want a Lover, which was an international hit, reaching the top 10 in the UK and other high-charting positions in Europe. Southside debuted at number 3 in the UK and number 88 on the US Billboard 200 album charts. Despite the success of Southside, the follow-up albums Mother's Heaven and Rick's Road were less successful, peaking at number 32 and number 18 respectively in the UK. The band's fortunes changed in 1997 with the release of their White on Blonde album, which entered the UK albums chart at number 1 and became their biggest seller. To date it has been certified 6 times platinum in the UK, for shipments in excess of 1.8 million copies. Follow-up album, The Hush, was also successful, debuting at number 1 on the UK album charts and certified triple platinum. The band's greatest hits album, released in 2000, was another big seller, again debuting at number 1 and also being certified 6 times platinum. Texas would go on to release a further 2 studio albums, Careful What You Wish For in 2003, and Red Book in 2005, both of which were certified gold in the UK. After the release of Red Book and a tour to support the album's release, Texas went on hiatus. Lead singer Sharleen Spiteri launched a solo career, releasing her debut solo album, Melody, in 2008. In 2013, it was stated that Texas has sold 35 million records to date. History = 1989, Southside = The band's debut single, I Don't Want a Lover, was released in January 1989. It reached number 8 on the UK singles charts and number 77 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart, as well as top 40 positions in various countries worldwide. The band released their debut album, Southside, in March 1989, which charted at number 3 on the UK album charts and was certified gold by the BPI. Despite this success, Texas spent much of the late 1980s performing as a support band for acts such as Foregone Conclusion and Silly Wizard. However, 3 further singles from the album all failed to make the UK top 40, with Thrill Has Gone reaching number 60, Every Day Now faring little better at number 44, and Prayer for You stalling at number 73. = 1991 €92, Mother's Heaven = The band's second album, Mother's Heaven, was released in September 1991. It was preceded by the single, Why Believe in You, but this failed to reach the UK top 40, stalling at number 66 on the UK singles charts. This did not bode well for the album, which itself peaked at number 32 in the UK. A second single, In My Heart, fared worse and became Texas's lowest charting single in the UK, reaching number 74, making it their 5th single in a row to fail to break the top 40. A third single from the album, Alone With You, was released in January 1992 and reached number 32, giving them their second top 40 entry. Ironically, immediately following the disappointing performance of the album and its singles, Texas released a new cover version of the Al Green classic Tired of Being Alone in April 1992. The single, which was not included on the album, was more successful and returned the band to the UK top 20, peaking at number 19. = 1993 €94, Rick's Road = Texas released their third album, Rick's Road, in November 1993. It was preceded by 2 more top 40 singles, So-Called Friend, and You Owe It All to Me. The album peaked at number 18 on the UK album charts. The music video for You Owe It All to Me was directed by Danny Jacobs, and was filmed in Arizona and features Spiteri and McElhone filmed in the style of a road movie, with the pair encountering another version of themselves along the way. A third single from the album, So In Love With You, reached number 28 in the UK in February 1994. = 1997 €98, White on Blonde = following an endorsement by then Radio 1 presenter Chris Evans on his Channel 4 show TFI Friday in 1997, Texas came back to the music scene with the international hit Say What You Want. The song was released internationally on January 6, 1997 and became the band's highest-peaking single to date on the UK singles charts, reaching number 3 in its second week of release. In February, Texas released their fourth album, White on Blonde, which went on to become the band's most successful album to date. The album debuted at number 1 on the UK album charts and returned to the top spot again 6 months later. It remained in the UK top 75 for 91 weeks. A total of 5 singles were taken from the album, all of which were top 10 hits in the UK. Halo, released in April 1997, peaked at number 10, Black Eyed Boy, released in July 1997, peaked at number 5, and Put Your Arms Around Me, released in November 1997, also peaked at number 10. In 1998, the song was featured in the film Ever After, A Cinderella Story, starring Drew Barrymore. The band then released a double A-sided single of Insane along with Say What You Want, a new version of the first hit from the album but now with additional rap vocals from the Wu-Tang Clan. The single peaked at number 4 in the UK. White on Blonde became the pinnacle of the band's success, and was certified 6x platinum by the BPI for UK sales in excess of 1.8 million copies. It was included in Q magazine's 50 Best Albums of 1997, and voted the 86th Best Album of All Time by Q magazine readers in 1998. It also ranked number 34 in Q's Best 50 Albums of Q's lifetime, as well being included in Q's 90 Best Albums of the 1990s. Many years later in 2010, it was nominated for the Brit Awards Best Album in the past 25 years. 1999 Euro 2001, The Hush and the Greatest Hits equals. In April 1999, Texas released the first single from their forthcoming fifth studio album. In Our Lifetime peaked at number 4 on the UK singles charts and was included on the Notting Hill film soundtrack that year. The band's fifth album, The Hush, was released in May 1999 and charted at number 1 on the UK album charts in its first week of release. A second single, Summer Sun, was released in August 1999, reaching number 5, the band's seventh UK top 10 single at that point. A third and final single, When We Are Together, was released in November 1999 and narrowly missed the UK top 10. The album was certified 3x platinum by the BPI for UK sales in excess of 900,000 copies. In October 2000, Texas released their first compilation album, The Greatest Hits. The album featured tracks spanning their career, from their 1989 debut to the current day, and included 3 new songs. A new single, In Demand, was released on October 2, 2000 and reached number 6 in the UK, with a video that featured the actor Alan Rickman. When The Greatest Hits was released, it became the band's third consecutive album to debut at number 1 in the UK. A second new single from the collection, Inner Smile, was released at the end of 2000, also reaching number 6 on the UK singles charts. The video for Inner Smile featured a homage to Elvis Presley with lead singer Sharleen Spiteri dressed and made up to look like Elvis in his famous black leather suit. In July 2001, a remix of I Don't Want a Lover was released which made the UK top 20. By this time, the Greatest Hits album had become a huge success and was eventually certified 6x platinum by the BPI for UK sales in excess of 1.8 million copies. 2003, Careful What You Wish For equals. In September 2002, Spiteri gave birth to her daughter, Mysticide, although motherhood did not prevent her from working on another album. In October 2003, Texas released the first single from their upcoming sixth album titled Carnival Girl, which featured rapping vocals by Canadian artist Cardinal Official. The song reached number 9 on the UK singles charts. Later that month, the album Careful What You Wish For was released. The album peaked at number 5 on the UK album charts and was certified gold by the BPI for sales of over 100,000 copies in the United Kingdom. In December 2003, a second and final single was released from the album entitled I'll See It Through, though this peaked at a lowly number 40 on the UK singles charts. 2005 €06, Red Book equals. The band returned in August 2005 with a new single Getaway, which peaked at number 6, becoming the band's 10th UK top 10 single. It was followed by another new single, Can't Resist, released in October 2005. The song reached number 13 in the UK, and was followed by the band's 7th studio album, Red Book, released in November 2005. The album reached number 16 in the UK albums chart, ending their run of top 10 albums, though was certified gold by the BPI for sales of over 100,000 copies in the United Kingdom. A third and final single from the album, Sleep, was released in January 2006 and peaked at number 6 on the UK singles charts. The song featured vocals from Paul Buchanan from the Scottish band The Blue Nile, and the video featured comedian Peter Kay. On February 21, 2006, a promo-only single, What About Us, was released. 2007 €08, the BBC Sessions and Hiatus equals. On September 24, 2007, the band released the BBC Sessions, which included radio sessions spanning from 1989 to 2005, with extensive liner notes and interviews with Sharleen Spiteri. Cover songs include Elmore James's It Hurts Me Too, The Beatles' I've Got a Feeling, and Ashford and Simpson's You're All I Need to Get By. In 2008, lead singer Sharleen Spiteri embarked on a solo career. Her debut album Melody was released in July 2008 and debuted at number 3 in the UK. Spiteri's second solo studio album The Movie Songbook was released on March 1, 2010, and peaked at number 13 in the UK. 2009 €2011, McElhone's Collapse and Reunion equals. On September 8, 2009, band member Ali McElhone was hospitalized after he collapsed with a massive brain aneurysm at the age of 40. By February 2010, he was recovering well, as reported by bandmate Sharleen Spiteri in the Sunday Mail. Ali is the most stubborn person I have ever come across, and I think his sheer pig-headedness is the reason he's still here. When he asked what was happening with Texas, I said it was up to him. He told me he wanted to get back into the studio. After McElhone survived his collapse, which kills in 80% of cases, Texas reunited for the first time since 2005. The band embarked on a tour in 2011 and lead singer Spiteri appeared on Popstar to Opera Star on June 12, 2011, singing a version of the band's hit Say What You Want. Prior to this, Texas had played at the Den Finds Glansby Festival in Denmark. At the festival, they debuted a new track The Conversation, which marked the first time the track has been played outside their native Glasgow. Spiteri was also invited to make a series of cameo appearances at different events, all of which involved film scores. She sang Yvonne Elliman's If I Can't Have You for a Saturday Night Fever tribute concert and duetted with Italian singer Mauro Gia on the love theme from The Godfather. Spiteri said that led to this forthcoming Texas album. But I don't see it as a covers album. I didn't want it to sound like karaoke. 2013 present, The Conversation and Texas 25 equals. In February 2013, Music Week announced the band had signed a new record deal with PIAS Recordings and were to release their first new album since reuniting. The Conversation was released on May 20, 2013. Physical formats included a single disc and double disc deluxe edition. The latter featured a bonus disc entitled Live in Scotland. Also in 2013, a UK tour was announced and the album launched at 2 gigs, one at King Tut's Wah Wah Hut in Glasgow and the other at the 100 Club in London. Spiteri performed a cover of River Deep Mountain High at these gigs, as well as a selection of new tracks from The Conversation. Tracks are written mainly by Sharleen Spiteri and Johnny McElhone, with Richard Hawley and Bernard Butler as collaborators. The album's lead single of the same name joined BBC Radio 2's playlist in April 2013 with 2 more singles, Detroit City and Dry Your Eyes, following later that year. The album is certified platinum in France and peaked at number 4 on the UK album charts. In November 2014, Texas contributed to BBC Radio 2's Sounds of the 80s album with a cover of Don't Talk to Me About Love by Altered Images, a band which also included current Texas member Johnny McElhone in its lineup. To celebrate the band's 25th anniversary, it was announced that some of their biggest hits would be re-recorded for a new album entitled Texas 25. The collection features 8 songs from the band's back catalog completely reworked with the help of New York production team Truth and Soul, as well as 4 brand new songs, and will be released on February 16, 2015. Deluxe packages include a second disc of the hits in their original form. The lead single, Start a Family, premiered online on January 6, 2015. A music video will follow, once again starring Alan Rickman, who was previously featured in the video for In Demand. The band will also embark on a new UK tour throughout April and May 2015. An Evening with Texas will be a more intimate arrangement than previous shows and will feature stories told by Sharleen from the band's 25 years together. Hiatus Projects. After the release of Texas's 2005 album Red Book, the band members confirmed that they would enter a hiatus. Spiteri performed as guest vocalist on Rammstein's Rosenrot album. She began work on her debut solo album, working with some of her former bandmates. She wrote the vast majority of the tracks on the album. She released her debut solo album Melody on July 14, 2008, with All the Times I Cried serving as the album's lead single. The song charted at number 26 on the UK singles chart. Melody was proven popular in the United Kingdom, debuting at a high number 3 on the UK album charts. In other European countries where Texas were popular, like in Belgium, the album charted at number 15 on the Belgium Flanders charts and number 13 on the Belgium Wallonia charts. The song Don't Keep Me Waiting was released as a single in Switzerland only, in which it charted at number 78 on the singles charts there. A further 2 singles were released worldwide, Stop, I Don't Love You Anymore, and It Was You, which were both unpopular in the United Kingdom, missing the UK Top 100, with Stop, I Don't Love You Anymore charting at number 107 and It Was You at number 178. By 2009, Melody has been certified gold by the BPI with sales of over 100,000. Spiteri released her second solo studio album The Movie Songbook, which consists of movie covers chosen by Spiteri herself, was released on March 1, 2010. The album's lead single Xonad was released in February 2010, and charted at number 71 on the UK singles chart in March 2010. As for the album, it charted at number 13 on the UK album charts on March 7, 2010, thus becoming Spiteri's second UK Top 40 album as a soloist, and her 7th UK Top 40 album both as a soloist and a member of Texas. To promote the album, she performed in front of 55,000 fans supporting Paul McCartney on his up-and-coming tour at Glasgow's Hampden Park. In 2010, Spiteri was a judge on the Sky One reality show Must Be the Music. Current members, Sharleen Spiteri Euro vocals, guitar, Ali McElhone Euro guitar, Johnny McElhone Euro bass guitar, Eddie Campbell Euro keyboards, Tony McGovern Euro vocals, guitar, Michael Bannister Euro keyboards, Ross McFarlane Euro drums. Former members, Stuart Kerr Euro vocals, drums, Richard Hind Euro drums, Neil Payne Euro drums. Discography: Southside, Mother's Heaven, Rick's Road, White on Blonde, The Hush, Careful What You Wish For, Red Book, The Conversation, Texas 25. References. External links: official website, official Facebook fan page, official YouTube page, Red Sky July, Ali McElhone's other group.